Good evening and welcome to the annual Thursday night concert. Now we're going to start like we normally do before we get into all the jokes and things that Jared and me trying to sound funny when we're not, with some serious business. As always, we welcome our American Legion Post with our colors, and we would like everyone to please stand for the presentation of colors by the Legion Post, followed by Jared presenting our national anthem. Gentlemen, if you please.
Please sing along. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Please, you may be seated.
And now on with the show. Last year, born out of necessity, it was a pleasure and a privilege for the Glenn Miller Birthplace Society to promote or elevate, whatever you want to call it, Jared as our leader of our house band. And as it's turned out, he's back again in a permanent position as leader of our house band. Who has struck a chord with all concerned, and everybody said they thought the band sounded better than ever last year, and I think tonight it'll sound better than ever. So with that, I'm going to turn this whole thing over to the man who runs the show, Jared Hara.
Thank you, Dennis. Wow, that was kind of weird, and it said something nice about me. Well, like Dennis said, this is your band, the Glenn Miller Birthplace Band. Like we told you before, and some of you that may not know, this band is comprised of members that come in from all over the country this year, representing many different states. We had a rehearsal this afternoon in the band room, and now here we are here to play for you tonight. So we're going to be playing mostly Glenn Miller tunes. We do have a couple of tunes lined in there that are going to be some nice surprises that are tribute to other bands and arrangers. But hopefully you enjoy tonight's show. So sit back and relax, and there's plenty of room for dancing because, man, this is good dance music, so don't miss out on that. So start tapping your toes, and here we go with our theme song and Glenn Miller's theme song, The Moonlight Serenade. to say good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll get something out of the way right now. You're going to have to bear with us tonight because this wind is something else. And we have a thing called sheet music. It doesn't cooperate real well with wind. Say that real fast 3 times. But we want to welcome you to the 2026 Glenn Miller Festival. Tonight we're celebrating 122 years of Glenn Miller and his music. In 1904, just down the street, a boy was born who grew up to change the music industry forever. He put his mark on it so deep that 82 years after he left us, we're still celebrating him. Tonight is proof of that. Once again, here we all are. It's hard to believe it's been a year already. And we're sitting out here in the square in beautiful Clarinda, Iowa, and celebrating a man and his music. Tonight we're going to try to help you visualize and hear part of that Glenn Miller story. I know that's this year's theme for the festival, so we're going to tell his story the best way that we can, and that's through music and his association with many of the other band leaders and people throughout the years. So as you heard first was Moonlight Serenade, and now we're going to get on with things. The next tune that we're going to do for you is one that was very popular. I believe it came out in 1939, and it hit number 2 on the charts. And here it is. You remember it in the movie. It was in the anniversary scene. And that's when Glenn hands Helen his anniversary gift to her, and it was a little brown jug. So here's Glenn Miller's Little Brown Jug. Let's hear it for the soloist on that one more time. Nice job. How many of you ever heard of the name Eddie Durham? A few of you in here have. I know you have, David. So Eddie he worked for a guy down the road here. His name was Benny Moten and his Kansas City Orchestra. And Eddie Durham eventually landed with Glenn Miller. And one of the most famous arrangements probably in the world of big band music, Eddie Durham had a hand in. And that was a little tune that it's kind of fallen off the wayside now. Nobody really knows it anymore. It was called In the Mood. Maybe, I don't know if any of you remember that one or not. That's a joke. So right now, to pay tribute to Eddie Durham and his former boss that he had down the street here, here is Benny Moten's The Moten Swing. See, I told you, we're having a little issue with the wind. Yeah, that's all right, isn't it? That thing swings. Well, part of that Glenn Miller story, well, there was a vocalist in that band, and he was with Glenn for most of the civilian years, and his name was Ray Everly. And let's see, many of you may know this next song because the Platters had a big hit with it in the 50s. But like I like telling people who talk about that kind of stuff, I go, nah, Glenn did it first. And being a Glenn Miller fan, I like that version better. But so tonight we're going to play one of those tunes that was early on in the band, and Ray Everly was on the vocal. It was hit by the Platters in the 50s, and so I'm going to attempt to sing it for you, Ray Everly's part, and we're going to do Glenn's version of My Prayer. Thank you. Nice job, guys. What we got next? Oh, yeah. That's right. If I was going to sing, I wanted to get both of them out of the way early. So now I can, after this, enjoy it. So the next tune that we're going to do is along in that same vein, about that same time. This tune was actually became pretty famous by another band leader who recorded it, and he liked it so much he made it his theme song. And Glenn handed over the reins to this guy when he left the civilian band in '42, and he handed it over to a guy by the name of Harry James, who had Harry James and his Music Makers, and Harry James became the new Chesterfield Orchestra at that time. And yeah, smoke 'em if you got 'em, they said. Those that, what is it? Those that smoke 'em like 'em was this tagline then? Yeah. But anyhow, Harry James used this as his theme song, and it's a great little tune that Glenn had recorded, and Ray Eberly did the vocals on it. And this is, all Miller fans, you have your side A favorites, and you have your side B favorites, because it's hard to list them all, which ones you like. So we separate them in two categories. And this is on my short list of side B favorites. And here it is. It was Harry James's theme song. Ray Eberly did the vocals by Glenn Miller, Cherry Berry Bean.
There's a handsome gondolier. Every night he sings so happily, so his lady love can hear in the manner so bravissimo. He repeats his serenade, and his heart beats so fortissimo when she raises her Venetian shade. Cherry berry bean, he waits for her each night beneath her balcony. Cherry berry bean, he begs to hold her tight, but no, she won't agree. Cherry berry bean, she throws a rose and blows a kiss from a
figured if I was going to sing 2 Ray Everly tunes, I might as well pick 2 of the harder ones to do. Let me get the papers back together here. Glenn's playing havoc on stuff.
What we could do?
Oh, yeah. This is my favorite part of this set. Because right now I'm going to introduce you to a guy. And this is the guy. If you want to have somebody in the band, this is the guy to have. This gentleman is a former alumni, traveled with the Glenn Miller Orchestra for many years, and currently plays in the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra. And also, you just got off the road with Count Basie, didn't you? Yeah. And he has his own band back in Boston area. So right now it is a very big honor to introduce to you who's going to take over the band here and do a few tunes with him. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, all the way from Boston, Massachusetts, Mr. Dan Gable.
Thanks, Jared. Pleasure to be here. I love the Glenn Miller Festival. And, I love Glenn Miller's music, and I had the honor all morning to hear the wonderful scholarship applicants, and that was a real pleasure for me. So we're going to play a few tunes. I thought I would bring along something from Boston. Now, if you don't know, a very special band leader by the name of Fawn Monroe has a connection with Glenn Miller, and if you don't know that connection, that's because you haven't read the book about him. And if you haven't read the book about him, that's because, well, I haven't finished it yet, but it's happening. And it's a thrill to get to present Vaughn Monroe's music. I have his entire musical library. And we're going to do an instrumental for you. This is called the Boston Rocker. It's also my theme song, so we hope you enjoy. All right, guys. 1, 2, Now we have this is a request from Jared. He heard this, he thought it was a recent record. I did it in 2010, which I realize is not a long time for some folks, but when you're my age, that is a long time, because I was 18 years old, whatever. But this is a Woody Herman tune, and at the Woodchopper's Ball. And this is my arrangement, and it's actually going to feature our trombone section. And we're playing the part that Bob Havens played. Bob Havens of the Lawrence Welk Show and so many folks. He's still around. He's 96 years old in Quincy, Illinois. He's one of the last around from the big band era. And you'll also hear our saxophone section play the tenor saxophone part that was played also on the Lawrence Welk Show by Russ Klein, tenor saxophone player. And Russ Klein comes from my hometown of Worcester, Massachusetts. So I wanted to honor Russ's solo and write that out for the section here. And it's a nice feature for the whole band. So please enjoy the old Woodchopper's Ball. what I had for our soloists. Thank you very much. We're going to round off the set, returning to our Glenn Miller roots. I always had an honor to get to play this chart. I absolutely love this. The introduction is by Billy May, and the rest of the chart's by Bill Finnegan. And some of you already know what arrangement I'm talking about. But I'm going to tell a different story, which is 19-year-old me, very scared, flying for the very first time, flying to Florida and joining the Glenn Miller Orchestra, having no idea what to expect. And on the very first night, I heard Larry O'Brien play trombone solo on this, and I knew I was in the presence of greatness, one of the great trombone players ever, and honored to call him a friend, and I call him like many of us right in Hawaii, and it's great to keep in touch. So this one's for Larry, and you're going to hear the whole band and that Miller sound. Here's Serenade in Blue. Everybody that smokes them likes them. I didn't do a Camel's ad, okay? For those that know what I'm talking about, we don't condone smoking, all right? Thank you, folks. Serenade in Blue. Jared, it's all you, brother.
No.
doing a great job. If you don't mind, let's hear it from Mr. Dan Gable one more time. Isn't that beautiful? All right. Oh, now we get to do another great tune that was, all of them are great, who am I kidding? But another great tune of the Glenn Miller story itself. It wasn't in the movie, I don't think, but it was in a movie. And then I heard it again years later. If any of you ever saw that movie, The Memphis Belle, it's the song that you hear playing when the navigator's trying to tune in the radio, or the radio guy is, I'm sorry. And they'd hear it come across the airwaves for a little while they were on their last bombing run. And I always thought that was kind of neat. Whenever I'm watching a movie and my ears will perk up, I'll go, ooh, here's that Miller sound. And it just, yep, there he is. He just kind of pops up like that throughout the years. So at this time, we're going to bring up our female vocalist with the band, Miss Oliviana Marie. And she's going to sing a great tune for you, like I was describing. It's the one that you've heard in plenty of movies. And here's Oliviana with I Know Why, and So Do You.
How about a hand for Jared and this band? I mean, come on. Thanks for having me.
I'm sorry.
I can see the sun when it's raining.
Nice job, Oliviana. Thank you. Miss Oliviana Marie. Well, before we go on to the next tune, there's a couple of things I wanted to let you know about. We'll get the first one out of the way. They told me to remind you that there are restrooms available. They're open over in the courthouse and over here at the Garrison House. So there, in case you need those are available. And also tonight, we wanted to thank the Garrison House. If you need a fresh, cold, refreshing drink, check out the Garrison House across the street here from me for a variety of cold specialty and other drinks. And like I said before, restrooms are open to the public, and don't forget they're also offering root beer floats tonight. So there you go. But one of the things that a lot of people don't get to see, and I've gotten to see more and more of it the longer I've been involved with this. I started coming here in 2007, and so I'm coming up on, this is my 19th year here. Not in consecutive, I missed a few years here and there, but off and on for 19 years now. And this year I came up a little earlier than I normally do. My best friend Bob, who's running sound tonight. Let's hear it for Bob. He's the assistant to the band. And we came up here on Sunday, and there is a tremendous amount of work that goes on behind the scenes to make this festival happen. It looks easy. It looks like it just happens. A bunch of people get together and they play some music, and we all get to enjoy it. But let me tell you something. There's a lot more to it than that. And I know that there's quite a few people here tonight that have a lot of gray hairs because of putting this thing together. And but I wanted to thank personally, on behalf of the band, for having us to do this tonight. But we wanted to thank the board members of the Glenn Miller Birthplace Society. So if you can stand, please, so we can recognize you. Mr. Marvin Negley. There's Marvin back there. Pat Podansky. Where's Pat? She was standing. There she is. Sherry Greenwood. Gary Pullen. Shira Bridey. There she is. And there's countless other volunteers that take part in this. So once again, let's hear it for the volunteers and the board members that make this weekend possible for us. Well, now we're going to get down to, this is the last song of our first set, and then we're going to take a little intermission for a few minutes, and then we'll be back to play a second set for you. But this next song, we would like to also recognize some people that may be here in the audience. If you served your country, or currently or formerly had people in your family that served, would you please stand? Any veterans? Let's give them a round of applause. We see you, Bill. All right, this next song is dedicated to them because the man that we're honoring tonight gave his life for his country. And at that time, he was known as Major Glenn Miller, a great American hero in my book. So here's one that goes out to all of you veterans, The American Patrol by Mr. Jerry Gray. One, that was Jerry Gray's American Patrol. Many of you remember it in the movie when Glenn made the transition from civilian life into military life. That's when you seen Jimmy Stewart go from there to the military life, and that was American Patrol that was playing in the background there when they were showing the footage of the different things going on over in Europe. So, like I said before, the band's going to take a quick break here, get something to drink, so feel free. Now's the time when you get to try out those bathrooms over there at the Garrison House or over here at the courthouse, all right? So we'll be back here in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. We got a lot of great stuff, and the biggest surprise of the night is still coming yet here in the second set.
Turn that one on too. We're going to do a little. What?
I don't think anybody wants to listen to you, Dennis.
They ain't, but they'll listen to you.
Well, you guys want to listen to me or Dennis?
What do you want to do here? Someone, no. Now we're getting interrupted by them.
And the guys don't even want to hear either one of us.
No.
And lady.
I was going to say, that's a mutiny back there. All right, everybody, we're getting rolling here. Oliviano, thank you. We have a couple of housekeeping items to get to before Jared gets rolling again. We want to remind everybody tomorrow morning we'll have the scholarship winners, and boy, they are good. They're going to start the day out for you with the 3 instrumental and the 3 vocal winners will perform what they did today or something different, whatever, and then they'll get their awards, and then these guys will come back for performance. Tomorrow we have Adam Swanson and Gooch, and we have the, Adam Swanson, and we have the Glenn Miller Orchestra in another appearance of their 1937 special that they did last year. They're going to do more music from the Miller 1937 band that you've never heard before, and I highly recommend that. And of course the Glenn Miller Orchestra tomorrow evening. But Saturday, you have the history lesson stuff in the morning, which of course is important to someone to hear me, but you don't have to go to that, but you really should. We're going to feature the Glenn Miller story on Saturday morning. We're going to have a panel with the Glenn Miller Orchestra, Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, Dan, and a few others, leaders, giving their wherewithal about music and answering all your questions. I know Dan's getting into everything this year. Then,
Dan is everywhere.
He's everywhere.
He's like Visa. He's
You got
everywhere
it.
you want to be.
And after the panel and lunch break, we'll have Gooch, we'll have the KC band, and later we'll have the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra by itself. They've never been here before. And in the evening, and this is the biggie, the battle of the bands between the Glenn Miller Orchestra and the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra. Don't miss it. You're going to really enjoy it. And it's almost as good as what you're about to hear, Jared. So get rolling with it. Thank you.
Almost as good. I appreciate
Almost.
that, Dennis. Thank you very much. Let's hear it for Dennis Bragg. All right. The next song that we got coming up for you, if you how many of you have actually seen the movie with Jimmy Stewart and June Allison? Okay, just about everybody here. But if you haven't, you're in luck. Just down the street here, we sell DVDs and Blu-ray copies of that movie if you would like to take one home with you. I'm sure for a very nominal price. But in the movie, just before the anniversary scene, and just after you get to meet Steve and Johnny Miller, there's the dance scene where Helen comes down the stairs and they play Here Comes the Bride in the Miller style, which I always thought was kind of cool. And Glenn has wrote this song to celebrate this special phone number between the two of them. And this phone number actually was the phone number to the Hotel Pennsylvania in New York City, and that's how the song actually got its name. And they tore the hotel came down a couple of years ago. I had the opportunity, I stayed there a couple of times just so I could say that I stayed at the Hotel Pennsylvania. And attached to the Hotel Pennsylvania was the Cafe Rouge, and that's where Glenn and the guys had a long-running stint there at the Cafe Rouge. And many of the big names and bands, that was the place you wanted to end up. You wanted to be somewhere like the Cafe Rouge. So to celebrate that part in the movie, that's the one time you get to see Glenn and Helen dancing. And this song is a great one, and it really swings. So here it is, and you can holler it out with us. I'm sure you know the words to this tune. If you don't, we'll help you with it. So here it is, Pennsylvania 65000. Pennsylvania 6, 5,000. All right, next time around, come on, a little louder. Come on, we can hear it. Come on. Look how many of you there are. Pennsylvania 6, 5,000. That's better. One more time. Pennsylvania 6, 5,000. All right, that was a lot better that time. Tripped up on this one. Pennsylvania 6, 5, oh, oh, oh. And there it is, the phone number to the Hotel Pennsylvania. Now this one, this is a very special tune for me. Like I said, everybody has their side A and side B favorites. And this is my side B favorite. And it just so happens that many of you know Larry O'Brien. He was a former leader of the Glenn Miller Orchestra. And every time they came through town or were anywhere nearby, I went and saw them. Starting when I was probably 10, 12 years old. And I bugged that poor man about this song. Oh, did I bug him about it? He actually got to know me because of it. I would ask him, "Did you get that chart yet?" He's like, "No, kid, we're not getting that chart," finally. He said to me once. So I said, "Okay, fine. One day, if I ever have an opportunity with my own band, I'll find it." Well, we were in luck because last year I met the gentleman here that leads the one of the European Glenn Miller orchestras. Many of you have met him, Jan. He's a great guy, great trombone player. And so I called him and I said, "Do you have this arrangement?" He goes, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "Any chance you'll share it with me?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." So he sent it to me here a couple of months ago. And I'm not kidding you. I was listening to the record and following along the chart, and I started getting choked up because I've never heard this song performed live. And I got to hear it today in rehearsal. And I was talking to Nick Hilscher on the phone a couple of weeks, which, by the way, he'll be here tomorrow. And so, yeah, we all get to see Nick again, so he'll be here tomorrow. And I asked him, I said, what about this chart? And he said, man, that was always on the to-do list. He said that I wanted to do with the band. He said, and from the best that we can tell, he said, the Glenn Miller Orchestra itself hasn't played this song since Glenn was alive. Was the last time they played it. And the chart got lost to time, and somebody transcribed it over in Europe. And that's the one that we got a hold of. And so here is my favorite side B tune, and I hope some of you enjoy it. It was based on a classical piece. So here is Bill Finnegan arrangement, by the way, of Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto. One, two, three, four. Folks, that's the first time that that song has been played live, especially by a band with the name of Glenn's on it, in over 80 years. Let's hear it for this band, huh? These charts that you're hearing tonight are the original charts from the Glenn Miller Orchestra. Some of the ones that they play, and like that chart was a transcription done off of the original. And some of the tunes that we're playing in here, they have Glenn's handwriting on them. And some of Bill Finnegan's handwriting, and it's an amazing experience, So, and they're not the easiest things in the world to play either. And the fact that these guys all came together just this afternoon and sight read all of this and are performing it now just a few hours later for you. And that's a testament to the talent that's here behind me. I just get to happen to be the guy to stand out here and smile and wave, but the real talent's right here behind me. So let's hear it for them one more time. Okay. Now, this is another part of the Glenn Miller story. You know, Clarinda is the hometown to Glenn Miller. This is where he was born and lived until he was 3 years old. But he went to college in a town called Boulder, Colorado. And that's, many of you are familiar where the archives are there at the University of Colorado Boulder. And Dennis Sprague is the man in charge of that place. And also the estate, for those of you that don't know. He's also the executor of Glenn's estate. So, right now we're going to pay tribute to his days in Boulder, Colorado with a tune that he did, and it's called The Boulder Buff. of course, the Boulder Buff. And now I get to do a very cool thing. Last year when I got to stand up here and play for you folks, it was a dream come true. And it was something that I never thought would come true. But being able to do this has been the honor of my life to lead this band for you. So if I can they made my dream come true, well, what kind of guy would I be if I didn't do the same thing for my best friend? My best friend is Bob Henry. He's the assistant to the band, like I said earlier, and running the sound tonight. And one of the things that was on his bucket list that he's talked about since before any of this, so he and I have always talked about it and dreamed about it, and he wanted to lead a band. And I said, well, I'm in the opportunity I get to do that now. I can make that happen. So right now, Bob's going to come up, and he's going to lead the band. And we're going to take this song at a little bit faster tempo, more of the tempo that you saw and heard in the movie. This was the song that you heard when they were in the recording studio, and this is what they were working on, just as Glenn went up into the booth with Helen and received his commission to go into the Army Air Corps. So here it is, the Tuxedo Junction, led by Mr. Bob Henry. Let's hear from my best friend and my brother, Bob Henry. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, now we're going to do a song that's always been fun for me to do. I've always enjoyed singing this one, and I thought it was a beautiful tune. Many people have done renditions of this, which a lot of the songs you hear tonight, you can hear other arrangements of it that were done by other bands, but to me, the original with Ray Everly on those vocals, that just nothing was more beautiful. It had that classic Glenn Miller sound, and of course Ray was well into the groove at that point, and this was pure just velvet when he did it. And I hope I can do it justice for you here tonight. Let's have the band, we'll start it off here, and the song is A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square.
Magic abroad in the air, there were angels dining at the Ritz, and a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm perfectly willing to swear that when you turn and smile at me, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. The moon that lingered over London town, poor puzzled moon, he wore a frown. How could he know that we were so in love? The whole darn world seemed upside down. The streets of town were paved with stars. It was such a romantic affair. And as we kissed and said goodnight, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. An echo far away, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square.
Well, thank you very much for that. I always enjoy that song. I always think that's a beautiful song. And now I have another nice one that's like that. So those of you that I haven't seen dancing at all, I'm disappointed. But if you've been waiting on a waltz, well, now's your time. This is your opportunity. Here it is. This was a tune that Glenn did, obviously, with the guys, and one of the great memories I have of this song is riding down the road with my grandpa in his convertible and hearing this song just blaring out of the speakers, and he loved it too. And he used to tell me, because when I was a kid I only liked the fast ones. I was like, yeah, play another, I want the fast one. And he'd say, well, when you get older, boy, you'll appreciate the slow ones. And he was absolutely right, because here's one of the great ones, Alice Blue Gown.
My favorite.
All right, well, this next song is something I just threw in here just to throw everybody off a little bit, because this is just a song I like. And actually it does have a bit of a tie-in. It's a stretch, but I can tie it into Glenn Miller. You ever play the game 6 Degrees of Separation from Kevin Bacon? Well, this is the degrees of separation from Glenn Miller. So Frank Sinatra actually had a big hit with this song. And on that record, if you guys remember the Come Fly With Me album, like every song on that album was a hit. And the band that was backing Frank up on that was the Billy May Orchestra. Billy May was a trumpeter and arranger for Glenn Miller's band. And then he later went on and became pretty famous himself. And that's the guy that you hear backing up Frank Sinatra on the Come Fly With Me album. And sitting in that trombone section is another Glenn Miller alumni. Mr. Jimmy Pretty was in on those recording sessions too. And Jimmy Pretty was the guy that became the owner of Glenn's horn, the one that is down there in the museum right now. So we're going to pay tribute to Billy May and his orchestra. And here is a song that, not so much tonight, but yesterday we were feeling like it. Here is Brazil. All right, that's a good one. That kind of gets your blood flowing a little bit, doesn't it? All right, well, of course, it wouldn't be paying tribute to Glenn without doing this next one. In the movie, let's see, this is a part, I think, where the band is, it looks like the Glen Island Casino, maybe, that they're coming out at, and one of the premieres. And Glenn gives a birthday gift to his wife. She says, well, my birthday isn't until next November. And he said, well, this is for the last one. So, keeping with the theme of the Glenn Miller story, and that scene in that movie, here is the great Jerry Gray arrangement that he did of The String of Pearls. While he's looking for something, I wanted to tell you something that I heard the other day. What do you do with a drummer that can't keep time? Huh? You take away one of his sticks and you make him the leader. Huh? One of the other ones. Hold on, here's another one. I like this one. You'll like this one, Dan. Do you know how you can tell the trombone player on the playground? He doesn't know how to work the slide and he can't swing. Man, they really like you, man. They turned like that. Oh, well, I thought it was funny. All right, here it is. Jerry Gray's The String of Pearls. One, two, one, two, Well, like I told you last year, there's that side A and side B thing, but my favorite song, not just of Glenn Miller's, but my favorite song of all time. It's the ringtone on my phone. I have a neon sign of the title of this song hanging in my living room. My life has been surrounded by this song. It's the song that started it all for me. I heard it in a movie, and it made my ears perk up. I was about 8, 9 years old, and I said, what is that sound? What is that? And that's the thing that it just stuck with me ever since. And my kids have strict instructions that when it's my time to move on, play this at my funeral, because that's the one everybody knows me by, is this song. And this is still the one that everyone knows Glenn Miller by. And it's the one that still to this day you can hum a few bars of it and people go, oh yeah, I recognize that. Even if they don't listen to this kind of music, they recognize it. It's been in countless movies, and it's one of the greatest swing tunes, in my opinion, ever recorded. So here it is, the 1939 recording that Glenn and the boys did, and it has become the anthem of the big band era. And here it is to perform for you tonight. What an honor for me, and to have these guys here, the Glenn Miller Birthplace Band, do In the Mood.
Let's hear it for the Glenn Miller Birthplace Orchestra.
Now, if you enjoyed this, you can hear us again tomorrow morning at the high school. And one of the added cool things about tomorrow is we're actually going to be playing on Glenn Miller's original stands that he used at the Cafe Rouge. So many of you may be familiar with those, saw them down at the museum, or you saw copies of them in the movie Orchestra Wives. But those are the actual stands that Glenn and the boys played on at the Cafe Rouge at the Hotel Pennsylvania. I believe they were made by the Budd Train Car Company. They also made the sides for Pullman cars. That's why they may look familiar to you. They look like the sides of train cars. So it's really cool, and it's a neat honor for us and the guys to play on those. And we appreciate the Birthplace Society letting us do that. So it kind of makes it special for us. So we're going to end things tonight the way that Glenn would end his radio programs. He had two themes. He had an opening theme and a closing theme. And a lot of folks didn't know that he had a different theme for the closing. So here is Glenn's theme that he used on the radio to close with, and the one we'll use tonight, and it's called Slumber Song. Once again, on behalf of the Glenn Miller Birthplace Band, we'd like to thank you all for coming downtown tonight and hearing some great music. And thank you for supporting us, supporting the Birthplace Society and the museum. We appreciate all of you being down here tonight. And hopefully we'll see you all around the rest of this weekend and maybe tomorrow morning down at the high school. So thank you all again for coming tonight. God bless you. Have a great evening. Thank you all again. And let's hear from Miss Liviana Marie, who you got to hear from earlier tonight. Guys, stand up. Take a bow. Let's hear it for the Glenn Miller Birthplace Band. These guys worked real hard today. Thank you all again for coming. Have a great night.